Hello and welcome. My name's Angela Davis and I am the 4am Quilter. And I have a video for you today that hopefully I'll be able to upload it this evening. And it's all about how I quilted and bound this quilt. And this is one of the quilts that I'm giving to my great nephew. And I did a video on it probably about a month ago, maybe 2 months ago. Three quilts, 2 to my great nephews and 1 to my great niece. And how I did it was I used a little bit of fabric similar in each of the quilts because they're going to be growing up together and sharing each other's lives. So I wanted their quilts to have similar fabrics in it. I'm really pleased with how this one turned out. There's always little threads, always, it seems like. But before we get started, I did have some questions about what kind of iron do I use. And this is a Black & Decker and it's called Even Steam. And I probably got it at Walmart or Target, something like that. I do not, excuse my back. I do not spend a lot of money on irons, and I'll tell you why. The first part of my marriage, I would say the first 15 years, every year I'd have a new iron because I would iron something, I'd bump the ironing board, it would topple over, it would break. I did not have good luck with irons, so I don't spend a lot of money on them. This one I've had for probably about 5 or 6 years now. And the iron I had before that, I had for about 13 years. And that's pretty good for me. That's pretty good for me. I think my sisters had the same iron for 20, but anyway, that's the story of my iron. And I don't spend a lot of money. I don't get the cheap one, but I don't get the high-end one. I just get middle of the road. So I don't know if I paid $30 for it, $35, 4 years ago, something like that. But that's the story of my iron, and it works well for me. I don't have any complaints. But anyway, back to the quilt. I wanted to I wasn't going to do a video in the middle of the week, but since I was quilting this, I figured I might as well have my camera on. I wanted to talk about the self-binding, and what a self-binding is you don't attach a separate piece of fabric to the quilt. You use fabric that's already in the quilt. So you either use the back of the fabric and roll it to the front and stitch it in place, or like I did, you use the front of the fabric, roll it to the back, and then stitch it in place. And what I did was, when I trimmed, I folded the top back, and I trimmed my batting so that it was so many inches from the last quilting seam that I did. And you can't see that because it's black on black. But basically, I just measured out so many inches from the last seam out, and that's where I trimmed the backing and the batting. And then I ironed the fold so that it was creased, so that when I turned this and clipped it in place, it would be nice and smooth. And then I just stitched it on the machine. And it's all black thread, so, if my line isn't perfectly straight, that's okay. These are going to be for toddlers. So, and you're thinking, well, why aren't I making a cute little, smaller quilt, appropriate for that age, sort of like a lap size quilt. I like the big quilts because I remember my kids at that age, they loved to make tents with the quilts. And if you know anything about kids at that age range, they love that. I'd set up the chairs and they would just have a blast, setting up the quilts, draping them over the chairs, crawling in and out, pretending they were in forts or houses or caves and whatnot. So that's why I do it. And this way they can grow into it. This backing, I don't remember where I got this backing. It is not 100% cotton. It actually has a little bit of knit to it, which I didn't realize what that when I bought it, which I don't know, ask me what I was thinking. Unless I got it from a thrift store, that's a possibility. It might have been in a grab bag at a thrift store. But I had enough where I could cover the back, and I didn't have any issues with it. But I did decrease the pressure on my presser foot when I quilted this, and I think that helped glide everything through the machine much smoother. So that's one tip. And you'll see that in the video. I have little pop-ups of little suggestions that I did along the way. That's one of them. The other one is when I start a row, I backstitch at the beginning and the end because I am machine quilting it. Just a couple stitches, 3 or 4. Gloves. These I think I got at the hardware store. I think I paid a couple dollars for them, maybe $4. But the reason why I like them is this texture right here. It's really grippy on the fabric, because some garden gloves, they may have grippies on them, but they're not grippy enough. These are perfect and they fit snug on my hands, which is what I like. So these are really nice for holding that fabric, you know, through your machine as you're guiding it. That's another tip. The other one is watch your posture. It's so easy to get into this, you know, and then after a while you're like, ooh, I'm sore. You know, try to maintain your center. And my issue is not necessarily hunching over too much. My issue is when I'm working, holding and guiding it, I tend to do this. I don't know why, but I have to remind myself to relax the shoulders. That's another tip. So yeah, so I'm really pleased with how this turned out. Really, really pleased. And the batting is 80% cotton, 20% polyester. Here's another thread. I like that. I like that for machine quilting a lot. So, enough talking. There's something else I was gonna say. I don't remember. Well, I have another quilt to buy, to a sandwich and start quilting on, and it's gonna be this one, the one for my great niece. And again, I've showed this to you before, the video about the quilt tops. This is the one I'm gonna pin together next. Oh, I do safety pin based. I had some comments about that. There's different ways to baste, okay? Find the way that's comfortable for you. When I started quilting in the late 90s, safety pin basting was a very good option, because before that you had a hand baste with, you know, just a needle and thread. Shortly after that, they started coming out with the spray basting and so on and so forth. Now they even have powder bastings. So find an option that you are comfortable with. I'm comfortable with safety pins, I think, because I've been doing it for so long and it's quick for me. Sometimes I will thread baste, you know, depending on what I plan on doing, you know, with a quilt. It's still a perfectly good option. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you so much for all the lovely comments. I've been getting such wonderful comments about the colors I choose in the quilts that I show you. I've been getting lovely comments about, you know, what kind of iron do you use, my mannerism. I just try to make myself relaxed so that you're comfortable, and also so that I'm comfortable. This is a wonderful medium, this YouTube, that we have at our disposal, where we can communicate across countries and not have to pick up a phone and not have to send a wire or a letter, you know, like in days gone by, and have to wait, you know, for a response. We have this, you know, at our disposal, and it's so wonderful, you know, that this medium that we have to communicate. There are disadvantages to it, obviously, but it's just, I've really enjoyed your comments. I try to get back to your comments as quickly as I possibly can, and I try to answer all of them. If I have missed a comment here and there, my apologies. Like I said, I'm trying to keep up with all of them so that I can try to answer all of you. And if I can't answer all of you directly, then I'm going to try to answer this way, through sharing, you know, and carrying your comments and that sort of thing. So without further ado, I hope you enjoy the video. And don't forget to like, that helps with the algorithm. If you enjoy it, subscribe so that you don't miss my next posting. And thank you so much for all your comments. Enjoy. I'm the 4 a.m. Quilter. And remember, why sleep when you can sew?